And good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining into today's session of Meet Your Architecture School. I'm going to just start off with sharing my screen. And fantastic. So the idea of today's Meet is to help you build your preferred list of architecture schools, interact with the top management of an architecture school, and really identify why that school is good for you. Um, and in case you've missed my previous webinars on architecture schools to consider in 2023, you could have a look at that webinar, which is on YouTube. We've also done another webinar on the next step for architecture schools, which is the processes after KCET or the COMEDK processes in Karnataka, but it's similar to the processes that you would find in all states across India. Coming down to today's school, we have NITTE Institute of Architecture, which is based in Mangalore, that is coming, that is there today. And NITTE Institute of Architecture was established in 2015. It's a fantastic school which offers student international opportunities and a good industry connect. All right. So there's also a number of scholarships for eligible students. And what you should look out for in this webinar is the scholarship for meritorious students, the new category of excellent scholarships. Top 3 students offered zero tuition fees and scholarships available for students with diploma in architecture and civil engineering. From NITTE Institute of Architecture, we have Professor Vinod Aranha, who's a keen visionary and who has networked with organizations in India, the US, and Indonesia to bring about a positive change in policy and grassroots public participation. He holds a dual master's degree in architecture and urban planning from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, that's in the US. And he holds a certificate in business administration, again from USA, and is also a lead AP, which is from the US Green Building Council. Along with him today are assistant professors Arul Paul and Professor Palaksha Shetty. Both are assistant professors. Both have graduated with their masters from CEPT University. And now over to NITTE Institute of Architecture to take it from here. Thanks so much, Vinod and team, for making it here today. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you, Dion, and thanks to all the eminent people at PQ Labs, Sean and Umesh, and all of you and your team of faculty that often, we get to interact with them now and then. My colleagues on the team, Palaksha Shetty and Arul Paul, both associate professors at the School of Architecture, and many other colleagues are our stronghold with this kind of strength where we believe in people. NIA, as we call ourselves, which is NITTE Institute of Architecture, and we are located in Mangalore on the west coast of India, where we offer a BArch program, which is a 5-year program with the difference. Possibly to begin with, maybe we could just play that little video so that we get the first sense of where we are, and then I'll go through a couple of slides to explain about our program. Arul and Palaksha will also speak about parts of the program, and we'll handle this that way. Thank you.
All right.
Hello and welcome to NITTE Institute of Architecture, Mangalore, or NIA as we all
Is the sound okay?
It's okay to me.
Okay.
call it. I'm Nahia, a student in the first year here at NIA, and I'd like to take you all on a quick tour to show you what the institute has to offer. We are situated in the Paneer campus along with other constituent institutions of the university, located in between the lush green surroundings. NIA has the perfect environment to study both inside and out of campus. The campus also houses the girls' hostel, basketball court, football ground, and a canteen. These facilities are shared with the nursing, pharmaceutical, communication and research departments. We currently occupy 3 floors in the building. On walking in, you'll find the grand lobby. And if you look to your right, you'll find the first year studio. This is where every new student, like you and me, will start their 5-year-long journey. The ground floor also has the director's cabin, the NIA office, conference room, and visiting faculty lounge to the left. One interesting fact about this course is that we get to do a lot of hands-on work, which makes learning exciting. If you see the ceiling, which our seniors from the first batch of college had helped design, you'll know it was definitely fun. We are now on the first floor of the building. Along with the faculty rooms, this floor has studios, the building science lab, and the material exhibition area. The studios on this floor are mainly for the senior batches. The urban studio is much more different compared to the rest of the studios, as it caters to the needs of the students who will also be working on their capstone or thesis project in the final year. We have a well-established material exhibit showcasing different models made by the students and also a go-to reference area for different materials available in the market for us to explore. The Building Science Lab is a new addition to NIA, founded in 2020 under the guidance and mentorship of Professor Norbert Lechner. With an intent to learn by experiencing and experimenting, the Building Science Lab focuses on disseminating the knowledge related to designing with solar geometry principles in building physics. Let's now go to the basement floor. If you look around here, you'll see the various wall arts made by our seniors for the college exhibitions and seminars. The spacious and well-equipped auditorium facilitates our institute to conduct a variety of seminars, conferences, and symposiums for both the faculty as well as the students. We have the computer lab and the library, which is constantly updated with the latest tech, software, books, and journals at the disposal of our students at any point of time. Earlier this year, we also founded the NIA Fab Lab, equipped with the state-of-art laser cutting and 3D printing machines. This lab aims to facilitate the students with the best possible technology to enhance their creative learning experience at NIA. We also have a stationery shop at the disposal of our students. A few steps further, we have the workshop. This is the space where you experience the freedom to bring all your drawings to life. May it be clay, wood, metal. We have the equipment for you to mold it to a beautiful masterpiece you once imagined. One good example of this would be the workshop benches themselves, designed by our very own faculty at NIA. Even the workstations in our studio were designed here by taking inspiration from various experiences our faculty had while traveling. And that's not all. NITTE University wants to build an ecosystem to facilitate budding entrepreneurs with new tech. That is, the NITTE University Technology Enabling Center on the second floor of the building. Students and faculty can now turn their ideas with focus on design, environment and ecology to an actual startup. Now that we've seen the campus, I should also be introducing you to the wonderful faculty who make learning a very smooth affair. Assembled in our NIA quadrangle is the faculty with our director, Professor Vinod Aranha. Over to you, sir.
We are really excited and look forward to having you here.
All right.
A good developer can understand a technical.
All right. Okay. So thank you. Thanks for that. And just to take that on, we are positioned around. Let me just share the screen possibly here, and I'll take you on to the next part of it. Please. This one, right? Yeah. All right. So like we were, Dion explained across earlier, we were founded in 2015. We're a young school, 7-8 years in existence, and we've graduated 3 batches so far. And the 4th one is graduated yet to be. The convocation will happen sometime towards another 2 or month or 2 later. So NITTE Institute of Architecture, as we call ourselves as NIA, we are located within the environs of NITTE University, which is located in Mangalore, about 10-12 kilometers south of Mangalore, across the Netravati River. And we are in an ecosystem where we have a number of other programs, other programs run by other schools as well within the university. So we have an access to all of these various wonderful programs. So the school has this very vibrant system of how people interact with people across other programs as well. And just to give you an idea of a location, this is in Mangalore. NITTE is also a village at Karkala, which is about 60, 70 kilometers away from Mangalore. And that's where the university started out. And that's how it gets its name, from the NITTE village. But since the university is named NITTE, it's the NITTE deemed to be university, which is located south of Mangalore. We have a lot of firsts over here, wherein experiential learning is at the heart of what we are doing. And so for which we do this through a broad area of not just courses, but also electives that we run, which are all very experiential, very hands-on. This drives into also initiatives such as the summer and winter school programs, which we run during the month of June, July, and also in the month of December as it permits based on resources. But some of these programs are of two types, basically. They are skill-based and they're travel-based. So we have both of these, so students take advantage of them, and they're done for credit, or as we have them now, as value-added courses. In addition to this, we also have travel studios. So in every semester, there was an element of travel, which we do it through a field trip where students get to travel to work on actual sites, come back to the studio, and get working on the project, on projects. But specifically in the 7th semester, as you get into your senior years, we have the Urban Design Studio, which is a travel-based studio, which is located outside Mangalore. And so students spend considerable time working there. Eventually, this program will also be linked to a foreign location, which is outside the country, where students based on interest can also opt to go for it. We have several workshops that we have right through the program, very, very often, plenty of them, a lot of skill-based ones. We have internships that we have in summer, that we have a well-established what we call as an ELC, an experiential learning center, through which these internships are guided and worked across. And these semester-long internships are also cooperative in nature, which means that as early as the 6th semester, which is when you're in the 3rd year itself, you're able to go on internships, which are like a basket of electives, which means other than architecture, you can choose programs that are, we have students that have in the past worked with landscape architects and architects. They've also worked with areas of policy planners. They've worked with hitherto technologies that are of indigenous in nature, like working with mud and bamboo. We have folks that have worked with internet stories, working with journalism, and working with film people and photography, a whole host of them. We have people that have worked in many, many areas other than architecture. So this gives an edge to these students. So when they come back, they have that whole well-rounded experience of having worked in allied areas, which is very critical for growth. Maybe Arul could talk about the course structure.
Thank you, Professor Vinod. I'd like to come in here and take on from what Professor Vinod was saying and give you an idea of what it actually means to study architecture, what it is that you will be studying in this 5-year-long, 10-semester-long course. So if you look at the graphic on the screen, what you'll notice is that as you go from the top to the bottom, you're moving from semester 1 to semester 10. So, you're moving from your first, your second, your third, your years. And what we've done at this program is that we've broken it down into levels. And each one of these levels is going to impart a different kind of knowledge to the student. So let me quickly run you through this. As you can see, the most important course, or the course that is at the core or foundation of architecture, is architectural design. So you'll notice the design stream, all the courses that are marked in blue there. It takes up a very large portion of what we do every semester. We have a design course in every semester that a student is, on campus. Apart from design, where you basically get to take your ideas, put them down on paper, conceptualize, and then present. Um, History and theory is also a very important part of what we do here at the school, because we believe that context is very important to understand, to understand what is around you, to understand your site, the society that you're building for, who you're building for, contributes a lot to what you design. So we have history and theory, which history is basically going to ground you in what is happening, and theory is going to provide you that sort of contemporary edge to know exactly what is happening now, and also to think about what can happen in the future. The next very important and almost core to the discipline is our systems and applications courses. So over here you can see by just looking at the names of the courses that these are courses that deal with the environment. They deal with building construction, the materials that are used for construction, the way that you construct, the structural systems that are actually used in construction, and also the various services that come together to make a building work. So that's also a very important stream, and you'll see from your first year to your fourth year, those courses also play a very important role. Another stream or another kind of course that we teach is representation. Now, representation is basically telling you that you have an idea in your head, but you need to be able to communicate that idea to a client or communicate that idea to others. And this is where your representation courses are very important. You will see them in the foundation level or the first and second semester, which and your foundation level is not only architecture, but these are courses that you will find in other design related streams as well as foundation level courses. There's a certain amount of unlearning that takes place in the foundation level, which is basically preparing you to start designing from and start taking on architectural projects basically. What happens to these representation courses in the higher years is that it gets included in your studio courses. So, computer applications, graphics, all of that become part of your studios. What is very interesting and very unique about the way we do things at NIA is that we actually tie up with industry, and we tie up with industry twice, according to our curriculum, twice during the entire program, one in semester 6 and the second in semester 9. In semester 6, we offer what we call the cooperative learning. And in semester 9, we offer an architectural internship. And this is where the student basically goes out of the school into the real world and is working with architects and other allied professionals in order to gain experience. Another interesting part of what we do here at the school is what we would call a choice-based system, a choice-based learning system, which basically means that, as an architectural professional, when you come out, you have various avenues that you can explore, from environment and sustainability to history and conservation to urban design and landscape, and so many other options that are there before you in terms of job opportunities as well as higher education. And our course really needs to, an architecture course really needs to prepare a student to make this decision. And I think in our cooperative learning and also in the electives that we provide, what we feel is that a student has a choice to create their own path. And the journey of each student is going to be different with all the various choices that they make. So I don't think any two students who come into NIA necessarily have the same path or the same trajectory they take. It's very different for each individual. And I think that also makes for a very clear vision of what your future is going to be. Similarly, when we talk about choice, you will notice that we have vertical studios that we offer. Vertical studios, again, are quite interesting because, there's a lot of peer learning that is encouraged through a vertical studio. So, for example, students of semester 3 will be working alongside students of semester 5, sometimes in groups, sometimes one-on-one. And there's a lot of peer learning that is encouraged, and learning gets accumulated through this system and it's transferred down from year to year. What you'll see in our senior level Vertical Studio 2, we offer, various, studio themes such as advanced design, conservation, landscape sustainability, urban housing. And these are all, things that you would find in a master's program, but we're giving you an idea. Just like I said, we're giving you an idea and we're giving you a flavor of what is out there so you can make the right choice once you graduate from the program. Apart from this, I think, I'd like to talk a little bit more about some of the unique features of our program. Looking at the university, the graphic that you see in front of you, you'll notice that, last year we received our A+ grade from the national accreditation body. So we are an A+ grade institution. And NITTE University also ranks very highly among universities from India. We're in the top 100, we're at the 65th spot. So, NITTE as a university provides a very good backing for what we are trying to do here in the program. So one of the unique features of the program that I was talking about was this dynamic and tailored pathway, where as a student, when you come in, you have a choice-based system. And this starts in the third semester itself. So once you move from your foundation level to your semester 3, semester 4, you start being able to take electives. In semester 6, you go out for a cooperative learning, and your cooperative learning, means that you don't necessarily have to only work with an architect. You can train with an allied professional. You can train with a designer. We have students who have trained with artists, with sculptors, with product designers, graphic designers. So, it's sort of open, photographers, journalists. It opens the avenue and it opens the mind of the student. And once you come back to school in your 7th semester, you can take, electives that basically have to do with the kind of direction or the kind of future trajectory. Another thing that's very interesting about our school is research. We as faculty, most of us have, have research of our own that we concentrate on. And we have courses that very specifically focus on research. We have the dissertation, for example, in semester 8, and the capstone project in semester 10. And these are research-based courses where in your dissertation, you're basically doing your own research. And in the capstone project, you're basically using that research to ask an architectural question and answer that architectural question through design.
Thank you, Arul. And just to add to what Arul was saying, that when you start to do research, even at a student level, it's possible to do that. And so we offer some of it through the building science lab that you'll see just here. And we have what is called as a Heliodon. Earlier, it was mentioned that it was led by Professor Norbert Lechner from Auburn University in the States, who came here, stayed for a while, and then developed this. He fabricated it back here in Mangalore itself under his direction. And it's well used in the institute to kind of work on projects. So you have a model of a project. You can run it through this, run it through the Heliodon and understand the sun's effects on it. We can do computer simulation as well, but this is a very intuitive process. On the left of the screen, you'll kind of see a whole lot of imagery over here. And these are workshops that we conduct for students to understand how this actually works, the sun part, how the sun is at a certain part of the day, and what is its effect on a building that one designs. Very interesting process that's there. To help with the infrastructure, there's a whole host of it. So you'll see from a workshop that is very well equipped and able to provide students with the ability to develop anything that they create and make it a kind of a working model, to a fab lab where this is experimented through laser cutters and 3D printers. And then we have the building science lab is mentioned here, infrastructure and sports. We also have a wellness center where we have a counselor on board who's in the school, part of the campus counseling that happens. And, he's here every day for your help on that. A library is has a well-curated selection of books. And like Arul mentioned, research is a part of us. And so we also have this co-working space. Recently, we inducted a new faculty into the into the group of our fraternity whose only area has been his mandated to look into innovation, to understand how projects that are held within the school can be taken to its next level, and if possible, can they be incubated? So we're looking at a pre-incubation phase for students as well. So it's a great opportunity for this to happen. Palaksha would like to say something here.
Yes. Yeah. Picking up from the word innovation that director said, we give a great sense of importance to innovation and experimentation, because as a designer, something that is fundamental is to look at things differently, um, to have very strong observational skills, to ability to see the unseen. So our our design studios and all the other allied subjects are aligned towards making you, or making a student, a strong thinker, a strong observer, an ability to innovate, an ability to experiment. So there are fundamentally two things that we work. One is skill in terms of making, drawing in terms of expressing what you think, and exposure becomes a very important part, so that it kind of gives you varied diverse ways with which people are either experimenting, doing. So how does exposure happens here? We travel. So some of the works that you see, right from going and doing a measure documentation, measure drawing, or visiting an architect's office, or visiting a historical monument, knowledge trips, visiting visiting modern buildings, contemporary buildings. So it could be all kind of travels and engagement in those places with with different stakeholders or different people from different spectrum of works. So sometimes maybe a scientist, sometimes maybe a biologist, or sometimes. So we try to broaden the way at which we work and look at things. In terms of skills, making becomes a very important aspect, where in the first year, first semester, most of our studios are spent in workshops. So we have a wonderful workshop that is equipped with very basic tools to very high end tools of laser cutting, 3D printing, and other such similar technology. So we heavily employ these tools in terms of learning and exploring with materials. The couple of slides that you're going to see in form of video next will take you through some of these projects that are part of our first semester foundation studio works. So if I may request, play. It was an exercise where we were working with sound and material.
Okay, I'll play the next one for Laksha. Palaksha runs a very successful foundation studio. I think there's one more, I think, coming up.
Have in different proportions. The plastic clay gives you strength. The lean clay gives you color.
So that was the
Yes. So we work a lot with material and different kinds of materials: bamboo, clay, wood, steel, metal. So largely understanding the smaller nuances with this material, and thereby understanding making of forms and structures. So of course, what we have put in here is a small gist of works that we have been doing over the years. A larger, set of these things are there in our Instagram and other forums where we constantly keep uploading the progress.
I think a large part of what Palaksha, Arul, and so many of our wonderful colleagues work here is to get students to be able to dabble with all these various forms, not just the course. The program of architecture helps you with learning and understanding various forms and spaces and the theories behind it, but also because of all the electives and the experiential part of what we run, a student is finally geared up to be able to pick on a number of other programs that they might want to opt for later. So in terms of work at a later date, besides being an architect, one can get into, because of your working with the Heliodon and energy, you might want to work as an environmentalist or work as an energy specialist, or into technology because of the internship program that you work at the cooperative internship level, and having intern probably with a photographer, you might take photography, architectural photography as a way forward, or filmmaking, or probably because of the way of how you've seen products are done at the foundation level and other studios in the workshop. Maybe product design could be the area for you. You can never know what's really exciting and what you might want to do after you dabble with all these various ways of thinking and working, both in the studio, in the workshop, in our fab lab, and outside in the various internships that we offer to you other than architecture. So that's a kind of a strength, and that's an ability to be able to make a choice. And this comes with the strong faculty base that we have. Every one of our faculty is chosen from the best schools from within the country and also from abroad. So with this, we have them as having diverse strengths, and that diverse strength is what brings it. We have people from all parts of India who are here within the program. We recently had a professor from France who was here for a art program and an art residency. He was here for about 1.5 months to guide students on a particular way of how to work with sculpture. So these are additional inputs that one gets as you go across in the program. Maybe at the life at NITTE, possibly Arul could tell us something about how students are able to go out and delve into various parts of working across the city and outside.
Happy to, sir. I think at NIA, it's not all about all about school, all about academics. We really want our students to diversify. We have all these value-added courses that come in, and we've had courses on aero modeling, for example, or interpretive dance, or various other courses. And we really encourage our students, especially those of them who are not from here, to enjoy the rich culture and traditions of the city that the city of Mangalore has to offer. And you'll see in these images, we have our student council, celebrate festivals, have all these, curricular and extracurricular events. And we really encourage our students to go out and be, very all-rounded people.
Thank you. And that brings us to that in case one wants to apply, you can always look at the website and get more information there. And it has regular information that one would need if one wants to go through a process of admission. But I think I'd like to draw your attention to scholarships and awards that we have, primarily scholarships. And that's where the management of NITTE University has come up and said that there are merit scholarships once you start to get 80% and beyond. And if you're crossing 85 and if you have a good NATA score or even a regular NATA score, they kind of combine these together. And with this combination, you're put on a ranking list of where you're eligible to get your seats at what would the CET rate of about 90,000 rupees or so per year into 5 years. So that would be the regular government rate that one offers. One would be able to get it through these scholarships if you are kind of doing well above the 80 or 85% level. And very importantly over here, among the ones that are qualified under the scholarships, there are 3 lucky students who will have to pay zero tuition fee for all the 5 years. You may just have to pay a little bit of fee just for an exam related, very, very small fees there. But otherwise, the entire tuition fee of 2,75,000 is completely waived off for you for those 3 students who come under this category. We have awards at every level for gold awards and endowment awards, which are there on our brochure on the website. One can take a look and get an idea of where that is. If you need to connect with us at any point in time, the address of the campus, this is all available on our website, so one can check it out. I just want to thank my colleagues, first of all, Palaksha and Arul, for being here to kind of explain the program completely. And to Dion and your team, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Vinod and Arul Paul and Palaksha Shetty. It's been very, very insightful. I mean, to see the work that y'all are doing for students. I mean, if I have to sum it up, very interesting. Of course, the academic aspect is phenomenal. What Professor Arul, explained is that there is a vision, there is a sense and a direction to hit that vision at the end of it. And what Palaksha really mentioned is that it also, beyond that academic excellence for architecture, it's going a lot beyond that into the other allied realms, right? Wherein the students get to work with filmmakers and scientists and biologists and get into the realm of product design and graphic design and that's actually a very interesting format that you'll have here. So fantastic, interesting. One of the key things that you'll mentioned right in the beginning is the focus on communication, right, in the foundation year. Professor Arul mentioned that. And I thought that was very interesting because to really communicate a creative field, it is a challenge, right? It's a challenge to communicate creativity to someone, to a client who has budgets and things like that. So Professor Arul, if you could just probably elaborate on this, the importance of communication, because I've not seen too many schools talk about the importance of communication at this stage. So if you could elaborate on that for our audience, that would be great.
So, Dion, I'd be happy to. I'll let Palaksha come in as well because he teaches that course. But I'd just like to say that, this idea of drawing, I think is very important because in 2 aspects. One is that it helps you clarify your thoughts as you're basically putting things down on paper. But what is also important is using drawing as, for example, as a tool to be able to communicate your vision to others. And I think by using both manual techniques to get the hang of it, to really learn the basics, and then use the computer and use digital means in order to communicate that vision, I think is very important. I'll let Palaksha come in as well because he actually takes these courses.
I also
I think,
I want to add one more
yeah,
thing.
I think Palaksha has got disconnected. So, Vinod, you can take it.
So the effect of effective communication, it's, we have some specific topic called creative expression, which we also take as part of our coursework. We see students, the effect of this we start to see in the third and fourth year, and as they graduate, is where you have students who are able to not just draw, but they're also able to speak and maybe use active means such as videos, films, documentaries in a very appropriate manner. So they kind of, you have a storyboard and how that is put out and so very clear. So there's a lot of clarity of thought, very evident in, as they graduate, to see all these communication abilities coming out very, very strongly.
Yep, I think tremendously important and something that is very well required for architects as a fundamental skill set. So phenomenal. The other aspect I thought was very interesting is your industry tie-up, semester 6 and semester 9, right? The industry tie-up is, a lot of times there's a disconnect between students of architecture because they focus a lot on the academics and get drawn into that. But there is a disconnect when it comes to actual industry requirements. So through your industry tie-ups, what is the core objective of having these?
So industry tie-ups are very important so that students are able to connect with industry after they leave. So they make a lot of connections and they're able to network all through the program. And so we have students that get to work with various forms. For example, we've done a kind of a survey and found that almost close to 30 to 40% of our students are become entrepreneurs, which means, and they work in areas other than architecture. So you're trained as an architect, but because of a cooperative nature, internships that we offer, many of them work in the industry. There was so somebody works in the furniture industry. So somebody worked for IKEA in Hyderabad. So she was absorbed because of her ability to work on that. We have people, recently we had a student who graduated last year who came back and said, hey, can you put this up on your Instagram, of the school's Instagram page, because I've contributed and I've authored a whole chapter within a book that talks of activism. Now you see, and I look back, this particular student worked with an NGO that worked with activism when they were there. So proud. They are an architect, yes. They have design, yes. They have knowledge of all of it, but they also have this additional thing. And sometimes it kind of helps so that you're able to diversify. And so it's like not having your eggs in one basket, but you're able to have them across many other categories. So it's definitely helpful. We've seen it firsthand over here. The cooperative education movement, the program that we've put in within the School of Architecture, was inspired from the University of Cincinnati at Ohio, which runs a very, a full-fledged active cooperative education program. We are doing it because in India, you don't give us the permission to that. They don't give us the full permission to have a full-scale one. We are doing it as a hybrid one within the school. So very, very useful, very practical and useful.
All right. Okay, that's interesting. Now we have a question from Amrita Daga, who's asking, I think she must be in class 11 or class 12 currently. And she's asking, is it recommended to prepare for architecture entrance exams along with engineering entrance exams? What are the pros and cons? Do you have any thoughts on that? Or I could answer that as well.
I think that's a DQ Labs question.
Right. So let me answer that. Right. So architecture and engineering have very different constructs, and it's targeted to different personalities, right? The engineering field requires a student to be very logical, very methodical in their approach. And typically these are found in left brain dominant personalities, right? Whereas architecture requires candidates to be emotionally connected a lot, right? So the creative aspect, the emotional aspect, the sense of colors, also paired with logic, right? It's not that the logic is missing. You need to have the logic as well, right? So these characteristics are found more in right brain dominant personalities, right? So the very fact, Amrita, that you are considering architecture and you are working towards that goal indicates that you have both these senses, okay, and you have an interest and an inclination towards architecture. So if what we would recommend is, if you are interested in architecture, choose college A as your first option. And then if that doesn't work, the backup plan is not engineering. The backup plan would be college B in architecture, right? That's the way we would advise you to go about it. Or as an alternative, like what Vinod and Arul and Palaksha were talking about, is that when you join architecture, you may find your interest in product design or communication design or furniture design, right? So you could also branch out into that. So as an architect, you could also probably work in the video game industry, right? Which is an interesting area to diversify into. So no straightforward answer to that, Amrita, but what we would recommend is look inwards. All right. Um, if if you are more creatively inclined, it's not that you can't do well in engineering. You'd probably do well, but you'll probably enjoy yourself more in a creative career like architecture.
Well,
Okay.
that's very well said, Dion. I just like to add. So when in architecture, like you rightly mentioned, is a broad-based program. So once you finish your 5-year degree program in architecture, it's in case you don't want to practice as an architect directly, you can work in all of these allied fields, including management. There are people who have done a BArch and then done an MBA. And then by virtue of learning, of being creative, the MBAs that come out there are very special, very, very special. We have engineers, we have people who work with the in technical areas who have done an architect, who have done their base in architecture. Or from architecture, you can your springboard could be into product design, and like you rightly mentioned, the film industry and so many other ones. So it's a great base.
Yeah. Maybe if I could spend a minute more on this and give our very own Umesh's example. All right. Umesh is the founder of DQ Lab. So he's an architect, branched out into industrial design and was designing cars for Jaguar Land Rover and General Motors and Hyundai. And then he branched off again into education, right? So
Very nice.
the versatility of this career is phenomenal, all right? And architecture is definitely the base of this, all right? The next question from Amrita is the cutoff for NITTE very high? I'd like you all to take that.
So it's this way. So at NITTE University, we look for students that first of all have the aptitude. Aptitude is critical to the whole thing. So when you say cutoff, you're kind of, I think, referring to a class 12 marks or probably the NATA. So for us, as long as you NATA qualify, I mean, getting a higher grade in NATA is really good. But if you qualify, then you're in to begin with in terms of the pool of. And we generally look at something 70% above would be the ideal one, is what we kind of feel. But then if there's somebody with a lower percentage than that in your class 12, we kind of look to see, we'll examine your portfolio of your creative works that you've done, probably drawings and sculpture, or worked with creative journalism, creative writing of any form. And that creativity component is a critical part than anything else. So yes, we always say, we talk of class 12 as the marks and the cutoff, but surely there is a kind of cutoff around 70% plus or minus, but creativity is the real cutoff. If you feel, and if we examine you, and we are happy to do that at any point, whether you join our school or any school. At NITTE, it's about a kind of, this school is more like an NGO. It's a very small program of just 40 seats, and we're not going to increase it. It's meant to be a design school, so we'll be starting many other design programs as well. So we are really interested, and we would just say that any students who feel that if the aptitude is right, you can make it. Otherwise, programs like architecture and design will be quite burdensome, if you're not meant for it. So you can come to us, you can come to any other career professional, but go through a little career program to see. And I'm sure if you've already gone through DQ labs, it must be you're already focused. I guess I'm talking to a crowd that's focused, so then that doesn't apply to you. But in general, aptitude is the cutoff.
All right, thanks for that, Vinod. But very interesting to say that the cutoff is aptitude and not the test. Not the NATA, not the 12 board. It's the aptitude.
Absolutely.
And it seems like you really want people to come there and enjoy the program rather than find it burdensome. So that's one of the reasons why you all are focusing on that. Fantastic.
With joy, there's plenty of learning.
Yeah. To get into the next part of the Q&A is the scholarships and the fee waiver. I thought that was very interesting, right? So from the scholarship aspect, how does a student get the first fee waiver, right? How do they get that? How do they get access to that fee waiver?
So the fee, when you say there are two types of fee waiver. So one is the moment you get 80% and above, so there you can say there's a cutoff in terms of money to be paid for fees. So moment you get 80% and above, you get a 25% or 25-30,000 or something. They have some that can be referred to. But I'm more interested in the ones that get above 85. The moment you start to get that, you're in for the really big deal, where it's a steal. I mean, the kind of money that we put into the School of Architecture to run it is far greater than the amount that that we would get because the scholarships are in. But that's okay. That's NITTE's vision to kind of ensure that we have a strong body of students that can be there. So yes, above 85%, and with a NATA score that's anything, you're 80 onwards, 90, 100. You can never say. It all depends upon the pool of talent that is there. They're put together, a kind of a ranking is done, a merit per se list is done, and you get immediately a 90,000 rupee payment only per year. That's all one has to pay per year. It's really a low fee compared to our regular fee of 2,75,000. And going further, among the list of those selected, it's normally about 40% of the admitted number of students get this CET or 90,000 rupee fee. And out of them, the top three, and that will be looked within that pool only, the top three will get a zero payment. So last year we had 3 of them, no payment, zero, absolutely nothing for 5 years. But the only thing is you have to maintain your score. Otherwise, you shouldn't start failing somewhere, coming. Obviously, they won't, but usually, that never happens normally because they're all very focused students and they do well. So yes, opportunity, I think it's just, I don't know, it's unparalleled in normal levels.
And I think it's great that you're encouraging the students who are focused and who want to do well in this career. That's fantastic. The final question is the application process itself. Now, NITTE does not come under the CET process or the COMEDK process. You'll have your own admission process.
Yes.
Is there any logic to that, or what is the purpose to have your own process?
So the thing is that we are a deemed to be university, and so this is a special tag that some of our universities have, and by virtue of which we are allowed to formulate our own curriculum and programs and courses. And so we have taken that to its hilt by aligning with various universities abroad, by picking up curricula which we think internationally fits within the whole program. So it allows our students to be able to do a master's program around abroad easily, and they fit into that program very easily. So yes, so this the process of having to do it because of our deemed university status, I would say, yes, that allows us this flexibility. Did I answer that question right there, or was there something?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, one of the key points here is that if anyone has to consider NITTE, they need to apply directly to NITTE and not through any other process.
Yeah. Absolutely. Direct admission. So, if you just type in the NITTE University, Google it out, you go to the website, and there's an application that you can fill. It's a first inquiry form, very simple, 2-3 lines, and then somebody will call you, speak with you, and then you can start the application process, which is an application form yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that.
And those who are participating in this webinar or watching this later, I have pinned the application link in the chat box. So please click on that link and you'll reach directly to that. If you miss that, it's also in the description of this webinar. And that's about it for today. Thank you so much, Vinod and Arul and Palaksha Shetty for participating in this. It's been a wonderful interaction and looking forward to a lot more.
Thank you, Dion. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Our very best to all the students and the parents that would be watching this show. Thank you.
Or take care. Bye.